Welcome back everyone to another Numero video. In this video we have the Delacombe Primary School's Grade 3-4 Numero Championship Final. Another terrific match. I know I say it every time, but these students just keep getting better and better the more we play Numero. At Grade 3-4 level, we introduce into our Numero deck the subtraction cards plus the multiplication and division cards. So at Grade 3-4s, they've really got to start pulling all those things together, making some ever bigger and greater takes. So let's bring out our competitors. In this match we have Sophie, a Grade 3 student, versus Lamia, a Grade 4 student. Now what makes both these players really strong is that they don't rush. No matter what's in their hands, they consider all their options really carefully, and as the game changes, as soon as a new card's added, they go back to the drawing board and see, even if they've already have a plan in mind, they see if they can build on it, improve, or do an even greater take than they would have done whether that card was there or not. So with that being said, let's get straight into the match and let's see how this one's going to unfold. Alright, so the cards are being dealt and it looks like we have a 7 and a 3 flipped in the middle to start with. And it looks like we've got a take here straight away. We've got the 7 and 3 together, which makes 10 divided by 2 equaling the 5. Really nice first take of the match there. And so Lamia, with her centre being cleared, is forced to discard a 14, and it looks like Sophie, unable to work with that 14, ends up discarding a 6. Now Lamia looks like she's started another build, adding a 1 on to the top of the 6 to make 7. Now it doesn't look like Sophie can do anything with a 7, so she ends up discarding a 2, and so we'd expect that Lamia will probably swoop in and grab that 7. Oh, perhaps not. Looks like he's doing something different here. 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 more makes 7. It looks like Lamia, instead of taking the 7, is setting up a double take here. So she's probably hoping Sophie doesn't have a 7, and she doesn't, so she discards a 1, and there it is, Lamia coming in with a nice double take very early in this match. Really nicely played. Now it looks like after that double take from Lamia, Sophie wastes no time. She adds a 1 on the 14 and takes it with a 15. And so Lamia here with her own 15 puts that down. And oh, so Sophie with a third 15, oh, and the fourth 15. All 4 15 cards have just been dropped in mere seconds. It's raining 15s down here at the 3-4 championship. And so Sophie is forced to discard a ×5, and then because it's a wild card, needs to discard a number card, so she does 11. And then here we have a take from Lamia where 15 take 3 equals 12. Nice, and all our 15 cards now being completely exhausted. And so Sophie discards a 2. And here Lamia with another build, 2 and 4 make 6. So Sophie couldn't disrupt the 6, so has to end up discarding a 3. But then here, let me just stop it there for a second. You can see that we would have expected that Lamia went in and snatched up that build of 6 she'd made. But like I said at the beginning of the video, Lamia always looks for those extra options. Instead of just taking what she's already prepared, can she use the new cards down on the table to go even bigger? And that's exactly what she's done here, turning what would have been a 3-card take into a 4-card take. And every card could be the difference between a victory or a defeat. And then, oh, looks like this is interesting. So Sophie has just discarded the divide by 5 wild card. So now on the table we have ×5 and divided by. Both those cards are the inverse of each other. So for example, if you put the ×5 on any number, it'll get 5 times bigger, but then you can shrink it back to exactly what you had by using the divide by 5 on top of that. So I wonder whether or not we'll see the girls take advantage of those 2 cards in that way. So Lamia, not being able to work with anything, discards an 8. And Sophie using that 1 there on the 11 to make 12, and adding 2 more from her hand to make a build of 14. And Lamia really thinks deeply about this one, spends quite a bit of time seeing if she can do something to stop Sophie getting that build of 14. But in the end, I don't think she can quite make it work. See, she puts a 6 from her hand, but this ends up being a mistake, and I'll explain why. So she's played the number card 6 from her hand, which means technically, once you play a number card, that's the end of your turn. And so she's building that 14 to 20, tries to divide it by 5 to bring it back to 4, and then adds a 3 from her hand, which equals 7. But you can see that this is where she's gone wrong, because she's played 2 number cards from her hand that turn, so that's why we had to pull that apart, and she ended up just discarding the 6. And so then leaving it open for Sophie to be able to take her 14 there. So I liked where Lamia was thinking about it, building to 20 and then trying to bring it back down with that 5, but it just didn't quite work out in the number of steps she needed to. So now she follows up using a take 2 on a 6 to bring it down to 4, adding 3 for a nice build of 7 there. And so then number 6 is discarded, and then Lamia follows up by discarding a 10. So much to work with out here right now, and it looks like even still neither Sophie or Lamia have worked out those inverse operations of the times 5 divided by 5, and as a result we had a straight take there, and Lamia takes her 7. But yeah, we really need to see if they're going to work out how to use those 5 cards. But for now, we've got Sophie putting a 1 on the 8 to make a build of 9, and Lamia discarding a 2. And there we have Sophie just snatching up that 9 and taking that build she made there. But still, we're not getting any traction with the times 5 divided by 5, because you see there, Lamia discarding 11. And here we've got Sophie putting the 2 on the 6 to make 8 and taking that away, and then Lamia 11 take 4, which would be 7. And she's wondering, I think she's just trying to work out what she could do with it. Obviously doesn't work out for her. So now she's thinking about maybe can she do something with the times 5. 11 times 5 is 55. So I'm not sure she knows exactly where she wants this to head at the moment, but she is starting to think about it. And here, look, she's put the divided by 5 back on it. So 55 divided by 5 brings it back down to 11. And so it doesn't look like she can work anything out right now, but at the same time, I think they've now realised how the times 5 and divide 5 cards can be used in terms of their inverse operation. So in the end, Lamia discards an 8, and so here we've got Sophie, 11 times 5, 55, divided by 5, back to 11. So by watching Lamia's hard work and calculations earlier, she's being able to click that in and use it effectively. And so now here we've got Lamia, 8 take 4 is 4. And then, so we've got a 4 and a 9, so that makes a build of 13, and there, that was Lamia showing her opponent that yes, she does have a 13, but Sophie, always with a 13 of her own, snatches it up, and so then Lamia discards that 13 she was going to take it with. Oh, and again, Sophie, with before it was raining 15s, now it's raining 13s. But now, all we've got left is a 14 in the centre, and now a 5. And a few straight takes there. And there's nothing wrong with doing a straight take if that's all you can do, because it just does reduce the amount of cards in the centre, putting a bit more pressure on your opponent and making it less likely that they're able to do a strong take. And so now we've got a 12 discarded by Lamia there. So quite quickly we've gone from a empty centre to quite a few cards here to work with, so there should be some options here, and it looks like Lamia's going to take advantage of that, putting the 8 on the 4 to make 12 and snatching up the other 12 for a double take. Our second double take for the match. Really nice work there by Lamia. And so Sophie discarding a wild card. When you discard a wild card, your turn's not over because you get an extra turn, so then she discards a 4 as well. Lamia goes in. 3 times 4 is 12. Again, obviously, as she thought through, didn't quite work out in terms of what she was trying to do, but then it looks like maybe she's got a new plan. 4 times 3 equals 12, divided by 3 brings it back to 4, and then puts a 6 on top to make a build of 10. So now it looks like within this very match that understanding of the inverse operations has clicked in, but Sophie, again, lucky, having a 10 in her hand, is able to steal that build from Lamia. So every time we steal a really good build that our opponents made, we should always thank them and say, thanks for all your hard work in making that. And then a straight match, a straight take with double 14s there. And now we've got a 12 discarded by Lamia. 12 take 5 is 7. Now you can see here we're getting down really close to the end of the match. There's no longer any cards left in the pile, which means the girls will play until the first opponent runs out of cards out of their hand. So we've got lots of cards here to work with. Can Sophie do a take here with her last card? Looks like she can. 9 and 4 is 13. So now Sophie's just run out of cards. She's now in control of the last take. And so because Sophie's just run out of cards, Lamia has one last chance to do a final take, but it doesn't look like she can. So she was left with 2 cards in her hand, which means she is penalised for 2 cards. And Sophie, winning the last take of the match, wins all the remaining cards in the centre, so she picks up those 3 extra cards. Alright, so now it's time to count the cards, with Lamia's being counted first for winning 21 cards, followed up by Sophie with a massive total of 47 cards, which means in this case Sophie takes the victory, winning the Grade 3-4 Championship Final. So congratulations to Sophie and well done to Lamia. Lamia did have some really strong builds. She was the one that got the 2 double takes, and Sophie got lucky a few times with some of Lamia's stronger builds, but in the end Sophie just comes out on top, chipping away, getting those constant really good takes of 4 or 5 cards each time. I really hope you enjoyed this Numero video and these Grade 4 match, and perhaps even learnt something that you can take away and add to your game as you continue to play and get better at the game Numero. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.